presented by Verizon Wireless, America's largest mobile-to-mobile calling family. It'll be Jimmy Rollins at shortstop. Ben Francisco, acquired with Lee from Cleveland this week, in center field. Chase Utley at second base. Ryan Howard, the big cleanup man, at first base. He's had 51 extra base hits all told this year, second most in the league. Raul Ibanez in left field, then Jason Worth in right field. Out of those last four names, Worth has the fewest home runs with 21. Pedro Feliz, the former Giant, at third. Paul Bacco, the catcher, and Cliff Lee makes his debut for the Phillies.
Let's take a look at our Giants defense. It is brought to you by your California Ford dealers. It'll be Valdez, Rowan, and Wynn. That is your outfield. Renteria, Sandoval on the left side of the infield with Uribe and Garco on the right side. Benjamin Molina will be down on the squat tonight, putting down the signs for Ryan Sadowski, the Giants right-hander.
And here we go. Jimmy Rollins, and a sinker is low for ball one. .63 degrees, the official game time temperature. Rollins pops it up out in front of the plate, and in comes Sandoval to help out, and he had to go a long way, almost to the first baseline, before he caught up to that one. So quite a journey there for Sandoval to catch that pop up.
Well, really the guy who's in the best position to catch it is the pitcher. But it's been around baseball for a long time that they do not want the pitcher to catch these things. So it becomes a tougher play for a corner infield. Unfortunately, Sandoval got it. These are the numbers for Sadowski. He won 2 games in his first 2 starts, and since that time his ERA has expanded. The last 2 starts have been his worst starts. When he is right, he relies on a lot of good movement with that fastball. It'll cut, it'll sink. He can throw a curveball and a changeup off of the good moving fastball. When he's right, you'll see a lot of ground balls.
Ben Francisco 1 for 4 last night in his Phillies debut. He had 10 home runs, 33 batted in with the Cleveland Indians in 308 at bats, hitting .250. And off the glove of Sandoval, Francisco is safe at first. That ball got there in a hurry.
Now behind the count 2-0, he gave into him with a fastball, and Francisco hits a one-hop seed that handcuffs Sandoval. And Sandoval will be given an error on the play. That is one of the toughest ground balls that a third baseman will get.
So now Sadowski has to navigate his way through the meat of the Phillies batting order. This is the highest scoring team in the National League, and the next 4 hitters have combined for 96 home runs. Just the 4 of them have hit 96 home runs. Utley hit his 23rd of the year last night. Just a little bit low. 1 ball and no strikes. Todd Titchener is the home plate umpire, and he's hearing from the Giants dugout that they thought that pitch should have been called a strike. Heard it enough that he turned and stared right back at him. Chase Utley hitting .305. That's 70 runs batted in. Howard on deck. And it taps it ever so slowly foul behind the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a gray evening here in the city by the bay. We can still see across the bay on the other side of Yerba Buena Island. You can see Berkeley and Oakland lit up in the sunshine. But here, grayness as the, what do you call it, Mike? The marine layer.
Marine layer, your grayness.
And the curveball is too low.
One thing that's good about tonight, you're watching where Sadowski is throwing his pitches, and even the ones that are not in the strike zone are missing down below the strike zone. That is a good sign. Last couple outings, he has had some problems locating his stuff down around the knees. Not the type of pitcher that can rely on beating you upstairs. He's got to be knee high. His knee high command has to be consistent.
And that is too low. So now it's 3-1, and a very important pitch to a very dangerous hitter coming up now with Ryan Howard on deck. It doesn't get any easier after Utley. He's got 23 homers, but Howard on deck has hit 26. And the man behind Howard, Ibanez, has hit 26. Francisco, the runner at first. Garco on the bag with him. And that's a walk. Utley hit one out of here last night against Jonathan Sanchez. Right after He got one that went right over his head, and he was a little upset about it.
Well, it is kind of a manly at bat. It went 5 pitches, all 5 fastballs, and in a 7-1 ball game after Sanchez threw it over his head, he hits one out of the ballpark. And from a hitter's perspective, it just doesn't get any better than that. It's a pretty good idea of what you have to be able to do to be able to hit at this level. But from Sanchez's perspective, it was not an intentional pitch. They don't care with Philadelphia. They do not care that it was not intentional. The fact that it was up around the head was all they cared about.
And the curveball is too low to Ryan Howard. So he continues to keep the ball down, but right now it's out of the strike zone. Howard, 26 homers, 78 runs batted in. But he also has struck out a lot again. That curveball is in for a called strike. Howard with 121 strikeouts this year, 384 official at bats.
I like that, backing up that breaking ball with another breaking ball. Usually if you throw the curveball a couple times in a row, that second time you're going to be able to zero it into a pretty good part of the strike zone. Make a pitch to the location you want to make it to.
2 men on, 1 man out. And the cutter off the inside. And it's 2-1. So again, he's working behind one of these Phillies sluggers. See how the Giants are playing it. Howard has a lot of power to the opposite field, and he hits a lot of his home runs to left field, especially in Philadelphia. 2-1 the count. Off the outside. So he's been right around the strike zone the whole inning, but he has not often thrown an actual strike. He's thrown 14 pitches, only 4 strikes.
This one just sort of moves away from the strike zone. But he has to be able to learn how to gain count leverage. And strike one is so important for Sadowski. And if you get strike one, then you have 2 pitches to sort of go to a location where you want to go to. If you miss, it's 1-1. You miss, it's 2-1. Now you have to come back into the strike zone. When you're constantly behind, you're just trying to shave the strike zone.
That is right at the knees. And that's just as you mentioned it. That's what he's been trying to do, and he did it right there.
Yeah, this is a perfect pitch, but it's hard to make a living hitting that T-count every time.
So now it's a full count. Francisco at second, Utley at first. 3-2. The curveball bounced foul off to the right.
That's a good one. I mean, his cutter is an excellent pitch as well. You don't see many cutters that come out of the minor leagues that pitchers can throw at 90 miles per hour, and Sadowski can do that. And he's got sink that goes as hard the opposite way, so it's a good 2-pitch combination off the fastball. The cutter and the sinker.
3-2. He struck him out. The bat ends up in play, but no contact made by Ryan Howard. Sadowski comes back from a 3-1 deficit and strikes him out.
Great comeback right there. I mean, the last 3 pitches of this at bat were fantastic. The 3-1 fastball, the 3-2 curveball, and here a 3-2 fastball with big-time sink and just nailing that outside corner at the knees. And Ryan Howard, a victim, and that's a big strikeout.
The bat ended up out on the infield dirt. Eventually retrieved by Ryan Garco. 2 men down, but here's another dangerous hitter, Ibanez. The curveball just off the outside. Ibanez also with 26 home runs, just as Howard. 74 batted in, a 3.05 average. And Ibanez has put up those numbers despite missing 22 games. He spent time on the disabled list before the All-Star break. 2 men on, 2 men out. That fastball in there for a strike.
I think about Sadowski this inning. When he has missed, he has been very close to the strike zone. Previous 2 starts when he's missed, he was kind of all over the place. Not the case tonight.
Francisco, who runs well at second. Utley is the runner at first. 2 down. And that cutter just a little bit off the inside.
And that could have been called a strike. I mean, all 3 pitches in this at bat have been good pitches. Here, a 1-1 slider. Little cutter slider that's 90-mile-an-hour little breaking ball he has. It's a good pitch. Now it's 2-1. Now he has to come back, find a little more strike zone out. But that 1-1 pitch is perfect.
2-1. for the dangerous Ibanez. Curveball, strike 2 call.
Backdoored him. Another nice finesse pitch. Watch the front foot go down and it just locks him up. See that pitch early, you think it's going to be outside. It keeps working its way back into the strike zone. Now the kill pitch.
Jason Worth on deck, would be next. 2 men on, 2 men out. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ibanez. And off his foot, foul. Ibanez, who signed a big free agent contract with the Phillies in the offseason. The Phillies got some grief over that because everybody said, well, they need a right-handed hitter. And yet they added another lefty hitter. But not so many complaints right now about it because you could make a strong case. He's been their best hitter. 2-2. And the curve, he taps it very slowly, foul up the first base side, and he just barely made contact on that one.
Trying to go backdoor again. You know, I think that lefty-righty thing is so overrated. You get good hitters. Do you think anybody cares if Manny Ramirez hits against a left-hander or a right-hander? No, he's a good hitter. He hits them equally as well. Ibanez is a guy who is a very, very solid hitter. Against lefties, against righties, he make a difference. Take a chance to get a hitter like that, he's going to make you better.
And that's exactly what Ibanez's addition has done for the Phillies. He's been an upgrade. 2-2 the count. And he just got a piece of that breaking ball again. So he's fighting off some tough pitches and just barely staying alive here.
And Sadowski, it seems to me like he can make good pitches at will. He has not made a mistake in the middle of the strike zone this inning. There you see what Ibanez has done against lefties and righties. Very solid approach, both sides of the plate. He's a hitter.
2-2. 2 on, 2 out. Going back is Aaron Rowan deep into left center field. He's there, and the inning is over. That is a 3-run homer in Philadelphia, but to the 404-foot marker here. Off the board. Now the Giants come up with Wynn in right, Valdez in left, Sandoval hitting .331 at third, Molina, Garco and Rowan in the middle of the order, then Renteria, Uribe, and Sadowski. And Randy Wynn, a switch hitter, will bat right-handed against the American League Cy Young winner from last year, Cliff Lee. And his first pitch for his new team is in there for a called strike. Randy Wynn hitting .273, 2 homers, 41 batted in. Lifetime batting average of .309 against the Phillies. And he chases out of the strike zone there. Strike 2. Giants faced Lee last year in Cleveland in an interleague game, the only time they've ever seen him, and he shut them down. He dominated them. Fastball on the inside corner, strike 3 call.
Let's take a look at the defense the Phillies will employ behind Cliff Lee tonight. It'll be Ibanez, Francisco, and Worth. That's your outfield. Rollins, Feliz on the left side of the infield. Utley and Howard on the right side. Baca will do the catching. And Cliff Lee, the 30-year-old, 6'3", 190-pounder out of Benton, Arkansas, takes the hills. His 23rd start. 7-9 on the year. 107 strikeouts against 33 walks. He's got great command. 4 pitches. Fastball, curveball, slider, change.
And he's just off the inside corner to Eugenio Valdez. Valdez is a hot hitter. 8 hits in his last 15 at bats since being called up from the minor leagues. And a fastball right by him. A ball and a strike. Lee went 8 innings against the Giants in late June of last year in Cleveland. In 8 innings, he allowed 1 run and 4 hits, 1 walk, and had 11 strikeouts. Check swing. Lee. And that is out number 2.
All right, here's our Comcast on-demand replay. Last night, Pablo Sandoval stepped up, and for the 2nd time this year, a Giants hitter took a pitch and whacked it into the pond. A big hanging curveball from Lopez, the pitcher, and this one was a splash hit. 49th time it has happened in Giants history. And Rodrigo Lopez was the victim. You get the best HD experience only from Comcast. Comcast gives you the most HD.
Pandemonium. The Kung Fu Panda, as they call him. Pablo Sandoval fouling one back out of play. The fan makes the catch. On 1 to Sandoval, who is 2nd in the National League in batting average, .331. 16 homers, 63 runs batted in now. Oh. The ball and a strike.
Now, the Panda lovers do not like that. Cuts a fastball and just cuts almost into his back leg. But as a hitter, anytime you get upended, you're not happy about it.
Right back to Lee. And Cliff Lee has a fabulous first inning for his new team. 9 pitches and out.
In the Kville section, and you will get a package where you get a great ticket, a collector's Kville t-shirt, a foam orange K, and $10 in food and beverage through Plastics, all for only $55. Well, it's tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow. Come in and check out Tim Lincecum and sit in Kville and watch him. Go to sfgiants.com/Kville right now and check it out.
Jason Worth, 21 home runs for the year, takes a strike from Sadowski. 1 ball and 1 strike. Worth, who was a member of that all-star team. And the slider a little bit low. Jason Worth, 265 average, 21 homers, 63 RBIs, 13 steals. Fine outfielder. That ball is hit deep into left center field. That ball is way back there. It is a home run. Rowan went up for it. I don't know if he would have caught it in any event, but somebody got there before he did. 1-0 Philly.
Well, sliding it sort of hung out there in the kill zone. Worth a good low ball hitter, but that's just a hanging breaking ball, and that is to the liking of just about anybody that ever picked up a bat. And how close did he come to catching it? Pretty close.
Pedro Phillies. Curveball is low.
A for effort for Aaron Rowan. Got up there high.
Well, we can't say definitively that, oh yeah, he would have caught that, but it would have been nice to find out.
He'd have had a chance to get it. Giants fans have to be a little more smart out there. If they're going to be in the bleachers, let the ball be played if it indeed has a chance to be caught by an outfielder. That's one thing you don't want to see, a 4-pitch walk after a home run. That is not good.
Pedro Phillies with the second walk allowed by Sadowski. Now Dave Righetti is going to go out to a conference with Sadowski, with the Phillies having gone ahead here 1-0. Say fans, 76 hits it out of the park with the 76 Win Gas for Life sweepstakes. Fill up with 10 gallons or more and receive a Win Gas for Life game card.
So if I won Gas for Life, I would buy a motorhome the next day. And I'd drive it like to the store to get milk.
Well, I'd be trying to carpool with you. Mike, what time are you going to the store tomorrow?
Whenever you want to go, as many times as you want to go.
And there's ball 1 down the net. What time are we leaving for the yard?
Anytime you want. I'll come get you 2 or 3 times. Because I got Gas for Life.
1 ball and no strikes to Paul Bacco. And that's in there for a called strike. And the Phillies. Well, there's Mike's. He's already shopping.
That's my new car when I get Gas for Life. Just kidding, folks. All you green people out there, I'm just kidding.
And the curveball in there for a called strike, too. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the Phillies, no matter what pitcher you are, whatever kind of stuff you've got, whether you're Sadowski or Kane or Lincecum, this lineup is a meat grinder, and they will test you. That's hit very softly. Sadowski only plays the first, just in time to get Bacco as Phillies moves over to second. 1 away, and now Cliff Lee will come to bat for the first time as a member of the Phillies. Lee was 0 for 5 as a hitter in interleague road games this year, but did have a couple of sacrifice bunts, which is pretty impressive for a guy who almost never hits. One to nothing. The Phillies are on top. He missed badly with that one. 1 ball and no strikes. Lee giving no indication of bunting here. Charlie Manuel apparently saying, hey, go ahead, try to knock this guy in. And it's ball 2. Now the guy on deck is much more likely to actually be able to do that.
Well, I'm sure he's not trying to nibble here. He's just trying to throw it across the middle.
Well, he got a little help there from Lee, who might have swung at ball 3.
I'm a little surprised by that. But that just tells you something about Charlie Manuel. There would be no taking a first strike for his pitching staff.
2-1. On the outside, strike 2. Jimmy Rollins on deck for the Phillies. A very eventful day in baseball. At 1 o'clock this afternoon Pacific time, that was the trading deadline. The players, the non-waiver trading deadline. Now you can still trade a player, but he'll have to clear waivers first. And there was quite a bit of activity today, some wild activity too, right before the deadline.
Yeah, some surprises that just I had no idea they were coming. No forewarning, nothing. Big trade.
Just got a piece of it to stay alive.
The trade that really surprised me was the Jake Peavy trade, sending him from San Diego to the Chicago White Sox.
So Peavy, who may not even throw a pitch this year for the White Sox, but the White Sox don't seem to. In fact, it sounds almost like they would prefer that he just go ahead and recuperate and be 100% for next year. Runner at second, 1 out, and a little dribbler up the first base side, right to Garco, and Garco gets the put out against his old teammate. He used to do that behind Cliff Lee until just a few days ago. The Comcast Sportsnet Central Major League News and Notes, Victor Martinez, huge blockbuster trade. Maybe the number one hitter out there, and the Red Sox get him, which set off a chain reaction of trades. The Red Sox then traded Adam LaRoche to Atlanta for Casey Kochman. Jared Washburn picked up with the Tigers. The A's sent Orlando Cabrera to the Twins, and Nick Johnson acquired by the Florida Marlins. Go deep with Bay Area sports every night on Sportsnet Central, only on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Bay Area native Jimmy Rollins at the plate. Just a couple of years removed from being the National League MVP. And if we needed real concrete evidence that Rollins is the key man in this lineup, I think we got it this year. The Phillies were struggling until Jimmy Rollins broke out of his slump, and their recent hot streak coincides with Rollins' hot streak. Uribe bobbles it, gonna have to hurry, still got it. Woods homer puts the Phillies ahead. Benji Molina coming up.
For the Mets, and John and Mike think he would like to come back for the Phillies and maybe stick it to New York just a bit after his departure from the Big Apple.
Well, the Phillies here during the season, once assuming Pedro stays injury free and ends up with the Phillies in the big leagues, they'll have acquired 2 former Cy Young winners within the same season, which is unprecedented.
But and I think Pedro Martinez has plenty left. I mean, the last time we saw him, he was throwing between 85 and 89 miles per hour with a fastball. And with what he can do with the changeup, you don't need any more fastball than that. Plus, he knows how to pitch.
As does Cliff Lee, whose changeup is off the outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Frank Viola traded by the Twins after winning the Cy Young in '88. Denji into left center. On the move is Francisco, and gets there. That one may have got a little push from the wind. I think it went a little bit deeper than Francisco thought it was. David Cohn got traded by Kansas City after he won the Cy Young Award the next year to the Yankees. And of course, the Cleveland Indians now have twice traded the Cy Young winner the next year after he won the award. Sabathia got traded last year to Milwaukee, and Cliff Lee to Philadelphia this year. Tough to be a Cleveland fan when stuff like that's happening. Garco, who also was traded from Cleveland to the Giants this week, rips one foul, facing his old teammate Cliff Lee. And these guys go from being buddies to facing each other, each trying to do damage to the other. And that's fouled into the Giants dugout. Last night he almost got beaned and was fortunate not to have been beaned. He just got that shoulder up there just in the nick of time.
Well, he wasn't happy about it. Talking to him about it today, he says, you know, for a minute there I thought about going out and introducing myself to Tyler Walker, but he says, you know, here a new team and all, I just kind of held my ground. They better not do it again. Dave Fleming, he had the whole thing all figured out. It's just another example of Cal taking on Stanford.
Tyler Walker, the former Cal star, and Ryan Garco out of Stanford. And that's in the dirt for a ball. 2-2 the count. So I was trying to think back when Tyler Walker was with the Giants to other Stanford guys that he nailed.
Let's see, did he get Jeff Blum?
He might have. How about Carlos Quentin when he was with the D-backs? That's a foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Garco. So Dave's kind of puts things through that prism a lot.
Oh, a lot. Like every day of his life. Once he finds out there's any friction between players, he starts, and the first thing he looks as to why did one guy go to Cal, did the other guy go to Stanford?
Garco fouls one into the second deck down the right field line. 2-2. Garco trying to get going with the Giants. Has had 1 hit in 10 at bats so far, with a walk and of course being hit by that pitch last night. Aaron Rowand is out on deck. And right over the head of first base coach Roberto Kelly. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Garco. Battling it out here with Cliff Lee. Lee has retired the first 4 Giants, and this is the first time that he's had to throw several pitches to a hitter. Did he swing? That was too high. Checked his swing. Ball 3.
Good battle right here. 2 old teammates know each other very well.
3-2. And laced foul right past Tim Flannery, the third base coach. And the ball dude will track it down. Mark Francischetti. This has already been a 9-pitch at bat. This will be the 10th pitch. He's hit 6 foul balls. And make it 7. That will reach back into the lower deck just beneath the overhang of the second deck. 3-2. Well, 2 old teammates face off for the very first time, and it's turning into an epic. Pitch number 11 coming up. And down the right field line, foul. The 8th foul ball out of 11 pitches seen. I suppose if you're Cliff Lee, it's kind of tough to surprise Garco with anything. Garco's seen him hundreds of times before. 3-2. He walked him.
Great at bat. That is a great at bat. But you know, John, you can see a guy playing behind him 10 years and watch him pitch, never miss a start for 10 years. But until you get in that batter's box, you really don't know what he has. That was a good at bat. And that's the type of an at bat that pitchers do not like. For the simple reason is it's way too much work. And if you lose a guy like that and he gets a base hitter, you walk him, that hurts.
He had thrown 13 pitches to the first 4 hitters combined. And then a 12-pitch battle from Garco. And there's ball 1 to Aaron Rowan, just returning to the lineup since getting hit in the right forearm with a pitch when the Giants were on the road.
Well, he loves to hit against Philly. 441 lifetime, 4 bombs.
That is going to be a double play. It was short hop by Utley, and just like that, the inning is over. On to the third. Francisco coming up. Then those big hitters, Utley and Howard. A Virgin America devotee. There's the McCovey loft down the right field line. As we start the third inning, 1-0, the Phillies are leading. And Francisco, deep left center field. There's Lewis. Wow. I say Lewis. That was Valdez. I beg your pardon. I think Valdez wondered at the last if he was getting in the way of Rowan. But he went ahead and thankfully made the play.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little communication breakdown. Valdez got right to where, watch him turn away from the ball and look into Rowan, and then decides to go ahead and make the play. But you're asking for problems when you are asking a guy to go out there and play a position that he's not that familiar with, and not that familiar playing with the guy next to him.
And here's Utley in there for the strike. And I was surprised that Rowan, by the same token, did not take charge in that one. Rowan is usually pretty aggressive in going after anything he can get to. Utley walked his first time. And a changeup from Sadowski misses. It's a general rule of thumb, though. In that case, the left field, you don't hear anything from Rowan. Just go, keep going, right?
Well, you're exactly right. The center fielder is your captain. Still, when you haven't played with a guy for a while, communication can hurt you.
And just in front of Valdez, who was playing very deep for Utley. He came streaking in for it, but it fell in. Base hit.
Well, Comcast Sportsnet has complete Giants coverage on Sportsnet Central every night at 10:30 p.m. Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports.
Check it out. Here comes Ryan Howard. Howard, who has won a Rookie of the Year award. He is won the National League MVP award. And he has established himself as one of the premier sluggers in the game. Curveball a little bit low. Howard last year had 48 homers and 146 runs batted in. The year before, 47 homers, 136 runs batted in. The year before that, 58 homers, 149 batted in. Those are his last 3 years. In the dirt, it gets by Molina. And over to second goes Utley. 2-0 to count to Ryan Howard.
Good anticipation from Utley getting his secondary lead at first base. Well, if you think about last year, Ryan Howard got off to a horrible start. He didn't do much the first couple months of the season. And then all of a sudden, when he started putting it together, his numbers were every day. He's a force.
And the same thing happened the year before that. Wild pitch, moving the runner up. The curveball misses. 3-0 to Howard. Another left-handed slugger, Raul Ibanez, is on deck. There is a base open. Is this a spot, Mike, where discretion is the better part of valor? Like, don't worry about putting them on. Maybe you can get out of it just facing the one of them.
Do not lay one in there.
Wow, Howard had the go-ahead from Charlie Manuel, and he chased a bad one. He chased ball 4.
With Sadowski's ability to throw the ball on the ground, and he can get a ground ball with his cut and his sink. If he walks him here, I mean, really, it's not that big a deal. It sets up the force, and he can get out of a jam with one pitch, gets him 2 outs, see you later.
That's had the shift on for him. And that is ball 4. 2 men on, 1 man out. Slugger Raul Ibanez coming up. Let's go down to NBC Bay Area Sports Director Raj Mathai.
Thank you, John. We were talking last inning about Pedro Martinez. The Phillies signed the 3-time Cy Young Award winner. He pitched tonight for the Phillies AAA affiliate in Pennsylvania. Not so good for Pedro. 5 innings pitched, gave up 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 3 walks, and he took the loss. So it looks like Pedro might be down in the minors for a little while longer before he comes up to Philadelphia. Back up to you.
All right, so that's the update there on Pedro. Here is Ibanez. That's 1 out, and Uribe couldn't quite get the ball out of his glove, and I don't know if he was going to be able to double up Utley at second anyway, who was already headed back to the bag. But that is a big out, and he got it on just the 1 pitch from a fearsome slugger, Ibanez.
Just kind of got it off a sweet spot up the bat. And that's a tough play to judge if you're a runner. I mean, it's kind of a low line drive. You don't know if it's going to hit the ground. If it hits the ground before it hits Uribe, I mean, it's an automatic double play. But you have to hold your ground. You're taught to freeze on a line drive, and Utley did the right thing.
Jason Worth, who has delivered the only run of the game on a hanging slider. He launched it into the crowd in left center. Ball 1.
This is really not a good matchup for a low ball pitcher like Sadowski is. And most of what he throws when he's on will be down around the knees. And that is the spot that Jason Worth likes. He's a good low ball hitter.
2 men on, 2 men out. Phillies ahead 1-0. And he didn't hit the target from Molina, but he hit the strike zone.
.60 pitches total now for Sadowski, with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. Ideally, you want to be 15 or less per inning. So he's running a little high in the pitch count.
He's already 33% over the prescribed level.
Over the prescribed level.
There have been 6 men reach base against him in these first 3 innings. Been a constant trial for Sadowski as that ball goes out of play off the right field line.
Jason Worth gets a hanging breaking ball in his first at bat. The slider just sort of laid out there mid-thigh over the middle, and he proceeded to spank it over the wall in left center. And that has been the extent of the offense tonight that's been on the board. But Worth is he's a spooky hitter. Very dangerous.
Utley at second, Howard at first, 2 down. And again, missing the target by quite a bit. 2-2. With 1 out in the first inning, Francisco reached on an error. Utley walked. Worth led off the second with a homer, and then Feliz walked. Here in the 3rd with 1 out, Utley singled, and Howard walked. A parade of base runners for the Phillies so far. That one he got in there right on the hands and popped him up. Here's Garco, and the inning is over.
Good pitch.
So it's been nothing but trouble for Sadowski, but only one run allowed. Renteria coming up.
About this, 6 future Hall of Famers in one game. It happened 50 years ago yesterday when the Giants beat the Phillies at Seal Stadium. For the Phillies in the lineup, Richie Ashburn, Sparky Anderson, and Robin Roberts. For the Giants, Mays, McCovey, and Cepeda. Pretty remarkable. Guys, back up to you.
McCovey, who said last night as Renteria takes ball one, that first game was also on a Thursday. The anniversary last night, a Thursday, with the Phillies in town. Broken bat, and that bat just shattered. Jimmy Rollins gets him. So Renteria is out number 1. Cliff Lee has not yet allowed a hit. No score in the game here in the last of the third.
I had a conversation one time with Bobby Bonds, and he was telling me that when he played, it was a tougher brand of baseball. There were only 8 teams. And I said, well, why do you say that? He goes, well, let me ask you a question. You got 12 teams in your league right now, right? Yeah. He says, well, how many future Hall of Famers are on St. Louis? And I go, well, I don't know. How many are in Cincinnati? I don't know. He says, well, let me tell you something about my league. Every team that I played against had 3 or 4 Hall of Famers on it. He says, pick one. I said, all right, Dodgers. Well, Dodgers had Koufax, Drysdale. They had guys that were going to be going to the Hall. If you went to St. Louis, they had Bob Gibson, and they had who else they had? Stan Musial.
Who was telling you this?
Bobby Bonds. He says the Cubs had Ernie Banks and Billy Williams and Fergie Jenkins. Every team had future Hall of Famers on it, the ones that I played in. Milwaukee had Hank Aaron and Eddie Matthews and Warren Spahn, and he made a great point. I couldn't match Hall of Famers with his Hall of Famers who he played against.
The baseball was 8 teams per league, 16 teams total for most of the 20th century. Jimmy Rollins just gets Uribe by a step, out number 2 for the Giants here in the 3rd inning. Then in 1961, the American League expanded to 10 teams, and in '62, the National League expanded to 10. And in 1969, both leagues expanded in the same year. 4 new teams were added all at once in '69, and that's when it became 2 12-team leagues, and they went to divisional play. Sadowski against Cliff Lee. Fastball for a called strike, and it's 0-1.
But it's true. I mean, even the Mets that Bobby Bonds played against had Nolan Ryan. They had Tom Seaver. They had Hall of Famers.
Jerry Koosman had great pitching staff. That ball is fouled off to the right, back out of play. 0-2 the count. Well, I know the players who played in that era are uniformly proud of the fact they feel like they played in one of the great eras of all time, that there were so many great stars all around baseball in that era. Sadowski fouls one off the right field line. 1-0. The Phillies lead the Giants. You start off with, without even thinking about it, in the 60s you had Mays, Aaron, Clemente, Frank Robinson. Just off the top of your head, Mickey Mantle was over in the American League. And the inning is over. Cliff Lee has retired the Giants in order again.
A bobblehead night presented by Chevron, and again, the first 20,000 fans will get the John Miller bobblehead. For tickets, call 1-877-4SFG-TICKS, or you can visit sfgiants.com.
Trying to get all my family. We're going to get here early that night and see if we can collect all of them before anybody else arrives. Yeah. Ryan Sadowski back to work here in the 4th inning. Sadowski has been under duress as the Phillies have mounted an assault in each of the first 3 innings, but only 1 run allowed by the big Sadowski, and a strike call to Pedro Feliz, who walked his first time. 6 Phillies have reached base against him in 3 innings, but only 1 has scored. Ooh. Right around the knees for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Feliz will be followed by Baco, the 8th place hitter, and then Cliff Lee, the pitcher, due up 3rd in the inning. Did he swing? No, says James Hoy.
He used to swing at that pitch when he was a Giant. What the heck's going on here, John?
Anything I just hate, it's inconsistency. And he pops it up. Garco, 1 away.
Well, be sure to catch the Giants Behind the Cage special before every NBC Bay Area Giants home broadcast. This unique show will take you on the field for batting practice and behind the scenes with in-depth interviews, features, and much more. Giants Behind the Cage debuts on Monday, August 10th at 6:30 on Universal Sports. Universal Sports can be found on Comcast Digital Channel 187 or 11.3.
Channel what?
187 or 11.3.
Channel 11.3?
Oh, yeah.
What I don't get that. Do you get that channel?
No. He gets it.
It's starting to come into focus for me now. Here's Baco in the dirt. That one got by Benji. Might have hit the shin of the plate umpire, Todd Titchener. 3-0 the count to Baco.
It has been a struggle for Ryan Sadowski tonight. To his credit, he's been able to pitch out of the trouble that he's kind of created for himself. had a lot of counts where he's been behind. He has walked 3 Philadelphia Phillies.
A study in tenacity for Sadowski. A foul ball, strike 2, 3-2. This at bat is sort of a composite of the whole night. Getting in trouble, falling behind in the count.
And really only one ball's been hit hard off him. That was the home run by Worth back in the 2nd inning when he led off that inning against Sadowski.
Strike 3. Came back to get him.
But he has persevered. Here, falling behind 3-0, he comes to a 3-2 count. Nasty slider. And he gets the swing over from Baco. Good pitch.
Now, Dude has a chance to get a 1-2-3 inning for the first time. He's looking more Dude-like now. Gets the first 2 guys for the first time in the game.
Looking like the big Sadowski.
Looking a little more like El Duderino. 1-0 the count to Cliff Lee, who grounded out to first his first time. Cleveland pitcher who has not allowed a hit yet. Fog pouring into AT&T Park at the moment. Looks like a fog waterfall out in center field. That is a base hit in the left center field. Aaron Rowan cuts it off. And all the way back into second base, Cliff Lee gets the Phillies' 3rd hit of the game.
And his first hit of the year. So it just isn't going to be easy for Sadowski. Cliff Lee, it's a pretty good swing right there. That's not going to be his last hit this year. Good opposite field line drive. Victoria almost snags it.
So now leadoff man Jimmy Rollins. He's a leadoff man, but he's a leadoff man with power. And the curve in the dirt for ball 1, blocked by Molina. Rollins has 10 home runs this year. When he won the MVP a couple of years ago, he hit more than 30 home runs. And Rollins was a guy who developed power, and for a while he was hitting more home runs year after year. Hit 30 in 2007 when he won the MVP. He had 30 homers, 20 triples, and 38 doubles that year, plus playing in every game of the season. The Phillies won the division title. Now it's 3-0, and Ben Francisco, a right-handed hitter, is on deck. Jimmy Rollins from Encinal High School over in the East Bay. He got the low strike on that one. 3-1.
One of the few low strikes that he's gotten. He's a Jimmy Rollins fan.
Sometimes it's easy to spot a Jimmy Rollins fan, especially when they wear the Rollins jersey. It's kind of a giveaway. He swung at that one. Strike 2. It's full count down. Swung at ball 4 there.
I think you can throw that one again.
Cliff Lee, the runner at first, wearing the warm-up jacket, ready to run. There he goes. Strike 3 call. Wow, what was Rollins thinking? Top of the order for the Giants coming up. Win, then Valdez and Sandoval. Friday night beer can regatta from the South Beach Yacht Club out behind left field. And the finish line for the Friday night beer can regatta is the entrance to McCovey Cove right outside the ballpark.
I think that is very cool. Now, they don't use the beer cans anymore.
They used to use the beer cans as the buoy markers to lay out the race course. Now they have actual buoys that they use for that. So they still call it by the same name, but Mike, frankly, the romance of the beer can regatta is gone. What's that? A buoy?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
But the people who race, that's a serious piece of business, racing a sailboat, and they're into it. A lot of fun. Randy Wynn struck out his first time, and Randy has never done well against Cliff Lee. 2 hits in 20 career at-bats for him against Lee. Center field, Francisco moving to his left a bit now. 1 away. Now, the Red Hawk Casino presents Who's Hot? And we know the answer to this one, Mike.
Well, it is Eugenio Velez. And what has he done the last 4 games? Well, he's 8 for 15, hitting a cool .533 with a big fly, 2 doubles, and 5 ribeyes. And that is our Red Hawk Casino Who's Hot?
Velez on a check swing inadvertently hit one back to the pitcher his first time. And he chases that big curveball. Giants bullpen is busy. Sadowski has had 4 difficult innings, and that kind of raises a little red flag, doesn't it, Mike? You see a bullpenner warming up this early in the game.
Well, I mean, you've had 4 innings, and they've been stress innings. A lot of throws out of the stretch for Sadowski. His pitch count in the 80s, 82 on the night. And perhaps Bruce Bochy's saying, you know, I don't want to tempt fate, because if you look at who's going to come up in the 5th, it's the heart of the Phillies lineup: Francisco, Utley, Howard, Ibanez.
Fastball, strike 3 call on the inside.
Well, he could not have placed that fastball with a cut on it any better. Go soft away, and on a payoff pitch, you can see the target. Paul Baca won that thing elevated just above the hands, and that's exactly where he got it. Cliff Lee right now is throwing darts. And everything that he throws, the fastball, the curveball, the slider, the changeup, he's got great command of. It'll be interesting to see how the Giants adjust the second time through the lineup to Lee.
Pablo Sandoval hit a comebacker his first time. That is foul into the bullpen area where Martin Valdez fields it. Valdez is the man who's been warming up with bullpen coach Mark Gardner alongside. So perhaps we've seen the last of Sadowski. And quickly the count at 0-2.
Well, the way you're looking at Valdez getting loose, I got to believe that Sadowski's over. He's over for the night.
'82 pitches, 7 base runners allowed, but just the 1 run. Muscled into center field. Francisco gets there. Sandoval retired. We're headed to the 5th inning. Francisco, then Utley and Howard.
Today was the trading deadline, a flurry of trades across Major League Baseball, but the trade we're focusing on between the Phillies and Giants after the 1982 season. How about this? Mike Krukow traded from Philadelphia here to San Francisco in exchange for Joe Morgan, part of a 5-player swap. The Giants send Joe Morgan to the Phillies, and Kruk comes here to the Bay Area. Mike, I don't know, we've never asked you this, but how did it all shake down? Do you have any idea you're going to get traded here?
Well, no. In fact, there was an article in the Philadelphia Inquirer saying there were 4 untouchable Phillies that were not, and under any circumstances, going to get traded. Pete Rose, no, it was Mike Schmidt, Steve Carlton, Ivan DeJesus, and myself. And the next day, I got dealt. So I got blindsided by it.
Sounds like a vote of confidence.
Yeah, I'm thinking, hey, I'm good. Had a couple years left on a contract. Had a good year for him. And as it turned out, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me coming here to San Francisco.
And the Phillies made out pretty well initially. They went to the World Series in '83.
Joe Morgan and Al Holland came over to the Phillies.
That ball is hammered by Francisco deep into left field, off the wall. Valdez. And a throw into the relay man, Renteria. So Francisco greets Valdez with a screamer off the left field wall.
Valdez on the year, 33rd time he's taken the ball, 2-0. 27 strikeouts against 18 walks. A fastball that'll go mid to high 90s, hard slider, and a changeup. You can see the grip that he has on the ball right now. That's the circle change grip that he'll load up and put into his glove before every pitch. Now, he may not throw it every time, but he'll at least load that pitch up so he doesn't tip a pitch going to that grip in his glove.
So the big sluggers are coming up now. Here's Utley with Howard and Ibanez right behind him. Fastball to strike. Now, Valdez pitched the 8th inning in last night's game for the Giants and faced many of these same hitters. In fact, he faced the big 4 home run sluggers in a row. Utley, Worth, Howard, Ibanez, the way they were lined up last night. And Worth was the only one who reached base against him with a single. And now he has to show he can do it again. They've all seen him. And that's a little bit low to Utley, who has walked and blooped a single. He's 1 for 1. Been on base twice. So we'll try and get a report about Sadowski, whether it's just manager's decision or if Sadowski's arm tightened up, or it could be either way because he had thrown 82 pitches. But it is unusual to see a starter removed after allowing just 1 run. And in the dirt with that circle changeup you're talking about. 2-1 the count.
Well, I think Sadowski, in evaluating his outing tonight, he's going to feel good about the stuff that he had. He didn't get a lot of corner pitches from the umpire, but still too many counts where he was behind and sort of fell victim to good hitters counts. The fact that there's only 1 run on the board, I mean, it's just a testimony to the perseverance that he had. He kept pounding the wall there.
82 pitches, a lot of them under duress, a lot of high stress pitches out of the stretch with men on base. Every pitch could have given the Phillies another couple, 2-3 runs. So here is Valdez. 3-1 the count to Utley, and Valdez is on the verge of getting himself into some serious trouble. Utley flied out to left against him last night. Phillies lead 1-0. And a high pop fly. Racing in is Valdez. Out number 1. So Martin Valdez retires Utley on a 3-1 pitch. And got him to sky one into shallow left.
Unproductive out. Very frustrating at bat right there for Chase Utley. You can't at least advance that runner who's a leadoff double to get him over to third base when you're out. That's not a good at bat.
So now Valdez will have to try and do it again. Here is Ryan Howard. This is that stretch where you got the sluggers up, including 3 consecutive left-handed hitters who hit home runs. Utley, Howard, and Ibanez. Howard is 0 for 1 with a walk. Fastball at the knees, strike 1. We're talking about Sadowski and problems he had and the pitches he had to throw so many pitches. 82 pitches total, and just over half of them were actually in the strike zone. So almost as many pitches out of the zone as in. 1-1 the count. Runner at second. He blew a fastball right by him at 97 miles an hour.
It's the best fastball velocity-wise he's had since he's come into the game. And this is pretty much how he went after him last night. He blew him away with high-velocity gas in last night's ball game.
0-2 the count. And the hard slider in the dirt, knocked down by Molina. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Nice play by Benji Molina there, John, keeping that ball in front of him. I mean, right now, I mean, you don't want to lose that 90 feet. It's a precious 90 feet. With 1 out, if that ball were to get out and bounce to the side, then Francisco, who runs well, would have been able to take third. And you don't want to give that up. So by blocking that ball, keeping it out in front of him, it throws Francisco. Nice job by Benji Molina.
Giants had that big shift on for him. 3 infielders to the right of second. Uribe's out in right field. Strike 3 called. Framed very nicely by Molina on the outside edge.
Well, Valdez opened up this inning and he was throwing 93, 92, and now all of a sudden he is reaching back and bringing some gas. And there's the frame job that John is talking about right there at the belt. And Todd Tichenor, the plate umpire, says looks pretty good from here.
That's not what Ryan Howard's saying, though.
No, he's not big in that call.
Another very tough hitter, Raul Ibanez. 0 for 2 in this game, although he's hit the ball hard twice. Fastball, a strike on the outside. Ibanez drove one out near the wall in left center in the first inning, caught by Rowand after a long run, and then he lined out right to the second baseman Uribe his last time. So 3 straight years with over 100 RBIs with the Mariners in the American League. Well on his way to another 100 RBI season this year, even though he missed 22 games. He was on the disabled list for a time. Remember, the man he replaced in the Phillies batting order was a pretty good RBI man, Bay Area native Pat Burrell, who ended up signing as a free agent with the Tampa Bay Rays in the American League. But Ibanez has been a better all-round hitter than Burrell. Left field, there is Valdez. The inning is over. A leadoff double by Francisco in front of the big sluggers, and then Valdez mowed them down.
see tickets online. Again, the Giants code GiantsK, and that's how you get it.
Molina into center field. Francisco looking up into the fog. One away. Benji, one pitch, one out. Here in the 5th inning, Molina is now 0 for 2. And Ryan Garco will have at it again against his old teammate Cliff Lee.
You know, he's had the best at bat against Cliff Lee tonight, and it was a walk. Giants still looking for their first hit.
It's a 12-pitch battle in the 2nd inning, and he fouled off 8 of the 12 pitches before finally coaxing a walk out of Lee. The only Giant to have reached base against Lee in this game. 1-0. The Phillies are leading. And it's 0-1. It's interesting. The Phillies end up with Cliff Lee. And for the longest time, it sounded as though the priority for them was trying to get Roy Halladay from Toronto. Curveball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Finally, they just said, well, Toronto wants too much. And they started talking to Cleveland. And in fairly short order, made the deal with Cleveland. Chased that one out of the strike zone. A changeup, 1-2.
3 pitches, 3 different pitches. First pitch slider for strike 1. Tried to go back door. The curveball missed. And here in a 1-1 count goes changeup below the zone. That made Garco take a walk out of the batter's box.
Fastball. He just kind of shows it to him way up out of the zone. Halladay, by the way, still a Blue Jay, and the Blue Jays are right across the bay from here, ironically. Defensive swing there, and Utley throws him out, 2 away. We're in the 5th inning, and Lee is no-hitting the Giants so far.
Well, he kind of threw the kitchen sink right at Ryan Garco. And that's what that Cliff Lee can do. He's got a lot of things he can do with the ball, and he can locate a lot of things with a lot of different locations with the pitches that he throws. And that's what really I think is his best asset, is that he never can give you has to give you the same look 2 times in a row. A lot of different looks.
And that's a foul. Rowand just back in the lineup. He hit a low liner that was short hopped by Utley at second and turned into an inning-ending double play in his first at bat. Cliff Lee has shut down the Giants. Rowand into right field, right to Worth. And just like that, this inning is over. That's an 8-pitch inning for Lee. The only run of the game delivered by the man facing Marquín Valdez right now, Jason Worth, who homered in the 2nd inning. And a fastball at 96 miles an hour. Strike 1 called. Worth hit one just out of the reach of the leaping Aaron Rowand out in left center. Ball might have been intercepted by a fan.
Look out.
In fact, we knew the ball was intercepted by a fan back in the second inning, but whether or not Rowan would have caught it otherwise, we couldn't say for sure. But we could say with a degree of certainty that he certainly had a chance to catch it if he'd been allowed. We're now at 22 home runs this year. There's Renteria in the dirt and scooped nicely by Garco. The Dr. Beer's sharp eye of the game. Valdez gave up a leadoff double in the fifth and then had to walk the tightrope against 3 Phillies sluggers. He got Utley on a pop fly. Howard struck out looking, and then Ibanez, another slugger, hit a fly ball to left, and Valdez put it away. And Francisco, who led off the inning with a double off the left field wall, never advanced so much as even one base against Valdez.
I think the biggest at bat in that whole inning was getting Chase Utley to pop up.
It was a 3-ball, 1-strike count.
Yeah.
To sharpen your vision, check out Dr. Beers at LASIK2020.com.
Dr. Beers here at the ballpark tonight. Enjoys baseball.
Phillies, this is a long run for Wynn. Does not get there. This right fielders play way off the line here to protect that huge gap where triples can be hit and inside the park homers. And Wynn could not quite get to that one. Here's the Chevron American League out-of-town scoreboard. The Red Sox active the trading deadline today. Beat Baltimore. Tigers in Cleveland tied in the last of the 11th at the Jake. The Rays over the Royals. And the Rangers lead the Mariners, but they're in a rain delay right now in the last of the 7th in Texas. The Angels have scored big time in extra innings at Minnesota. The Yankees got clobbered by the White Sox, and the Athletics are way ahead of the Blue Jays over across the bay. There's Garco. Looks at second. Decides to get the sure out at first. Feliz advances.
That's good game management right there. Garco knows he's got the pitcher on deck, so why risk a throw that probably would have been a difficult one to make, in that he would have had to throw probably right over the shoulder of Pedro Feliz to get the out. So you get the sure out with the pitcher on deck, and this is one of the advantages of being a National Leaguer. You would think that a guy who spent most of his career in the American League would perhaps miss that little small point, but Garco was all over it.
Lee hit a single his last time. Fastball to strike. He grounded out his first time, but he's no sure thing out here, as you described it, Mikey. Looks like he swings the bat pretty well. One hit this year, and that came tonight in his last at bat, in 7 at bats overall for the season. Coming in, Valdez. He's got it. Valdez just covers some ground out there. One runner stranded. Renteria coming up.
I'm Raj Mathai. Maybe Randy Wynn will break up this no-hitter here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Randy Wynn, almost 4 years ago to the day, traded from the Mariners here to the Giants in San Francisco. And for Randy Wynn, it's a homecoming of sorts. He went to high school in the East Bay and then Santa Clara University. He was a two-sport athlete, but he didn't get much time playing basketball for the Broncos because Steve Nash was the Broncos starting point guard. In fact, Santa Clara basketball coach Dick Davey told Wynn at the time, hey, stick with baseball because you're not going to get much playing time. Worked out good for Nash and Wynn. In fact, they remain friends. Steve Nash will visit Giants spring training on occasion down in Scottsdale. Guys, back up to you.
Yeah, we see Steve Nash a lot when the Giants in the regular season go down to play the D-backs at Chase Field as well. And why not? He just calls his old buddy Randy Wynn, and the tickets are there. Ball one from is that the first time it's been ball one?
It may be. Cliff Lee has been remarkable tonight, and he's been on top of the Giants hitters with strike one since the first inning.
Ball two. Well, I don't know what's happened to him. This got to be the first time it's been 2-0. He's thrown 56 pitches all told, and even with those last two out of the zone, 41 of the 56 have been strikes. 2-1 now. Renteria grounded to short his first time. Uribe due up second in the inning. Brandon Metters up in the Giants bullpen as Marquín Valdez, the pitcher, due up third. 2-2. Lee has had one bat of this game where he went to a 3-ball count, which I don't remember that. 2-2 to Edgar Renteria. Renteria 4 for 15 lifetime against Lee.
Yeah, that 3-ball count must have been between innings when he was warming up.
Well, he's got a 3-ball count now. 3-2 to Renteria. And a foul out of play, and he didn't groove it.
Giants need to get him in a stretch, break his rhythm up that he has had out of that windup, because it's been a solid rhythm. He's been able to go in with hard stuff, turn the ball over away, take a little off, put a little on, throw both breaking balls over.
Strike three call, knee high in the outside corner.
Well, when you've been so around the plate all night long and you've dominated the strike zone, when you do get a coin toss pitch and a 3-2 count, you're going to get the call. 60 pitches into a ball game, Cliff Lee is going to get a few of those, and I guess you'd have to say he's earned them.
Uribe down the right field line. That one is in there. First hit of the night for the Giants, and up against the McCovey loft balustrade. A double for Uribe. I don't remember seeing too many fair balls that ended up hitting McCovey's loft like that.
No, we're going to make it our Cash Creek hit of the game, and why not? First hit of the night is the first time a Giant's been at second base, the first time they've had a runner in scoring position against Lee, and it'll put him in his stretch. Our Cash Creek hit of the game.
All right, so it hit alongside the loft, not right off the loft.
Well, it's close enough.
So the Giants get their first hit, the 18th double of the year for Uribe. And here is Jesus Guzman to try and get the Giants on the board. They're only trailing 1-0. Runner in scoring position. Ball one. First time they've had a runner reach second base against Lee. Randy Wynn out on deck. Guzman, who was the hottest hitter in AAA baseball when the Giants brought him up on Monday. He had hit in 26 consecutive games, and then had a hit in his first at bat that night for the Giants. That's out of play off to the right. 1-1 strike to Guzman, who was hitting .336 for the Fresno Grizzlies this year. Guzman in the big leagues, 2 hits in 14 at bats so far.
Very relaxed in that batter's box. Confident hitter.
And the slider low and inside, ball 2.
Good take. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do, because a lot of what Lee has done tonight is he's convinced the Giants when that ball leaves his hand, that ball that they're going to swing at is going to be in the strike zone. And when they've gone after it, it's sort of fallen down below the zone, off the plate, away out of the zone.
At the knees, 2-2. It's amazing how often he's been in a hitter's count and thrown a fastball, but made it a pitcher's strike right on the edge of the strike zone. 2-2 the count. On the inside corner, strike 3 call.
Boy, how many times have we seen him use that inside corner with that cut fastball for the payoff pitch? And that's a rough at bat for Guzman. Got to do a little bit better job of protecting that strike zone, especially with a runner in score position. An open base, you have to know as a young hitter that a pitcher who has the command that Cliff Lee has is not going to give you something right over the middle of the plate in the challenge. If he walks you, he really doesn't care.
And away from the target. And close to a knee-high strike, but called too low for ball 1. The Giants in the bullpen had Brandon Metters warming up, and now he is joined in the left field bullpen. Base hit can be in a run. Runner at second, 2 down. Wynn breaks his back. And Utley, the inning is over. Jeremy Affeldt had just gotten up out of the bullpen to join Metters. We're heading to the 7th. Top of the order coming up. Were beaten in that game in Florida. The Diamondbacks beat the Mets in New York. Dodgers shut out Atlanta back at Jason Schmidt and the bullpen as Brandon Metters comes in to pitch for the Giants and misses for ball 1 to Jimmy Rollins. Rollins has popped to third, grounded to second, and been called out on strikes. A switch hitter, 0 for 3 in the game, and Metters misses again. You've got Rollins, the switch hitter, then Francisco, a right-handed hitter, and then those 3 left-handed sluggers in a row, and the left-hander Affeldt is up in the bullpen again for the Giants. 2-0. And Metters is on the verge of walking in now.
Uncommon to see Metters fall behind the hitter. 3-0. He's been so good with his command all year long.
And never does find the strike zone. So now Metters will have to face Ben Francisco with Rollins at first, and Rollins, you have to keep a close eye on him. He has 20 steals for the year. And this is the kind of a game where a steal can be a big play. All the big RBI guys coming up after Francisco. Rollins easily back. It's almost as if Rollins started back to first base even before Meadows threw. Saw that one coming. Francisco has been safe on a Sandoval error, flied out deep to left center, and doubled off the left field wall. Swung the bat well tonight. Hit the ball hard every time he's been up. That time Rollins was shading back toward the bag at first as Meadows threw it to the plate, but Meadows still unable to throw a strike.
Now this is an ideal count here for Francisco. A good fastball hitter. He's in a fastball count. And with Chase Utley on deck, good chance he's going to get a challenge right here. You know, I think it's a good situation here. You feel like you have to give into a fastball count. Throw over to first base a few times. Wait, come set, hold the ball for 5 seconds. Make that guy step out. Anything you can do to upset his rhythm on the fastball count.
There is Valdez. So Francisco, maybe just a little bit too quick on that one. One away.
Well, they got the pitch he was looking for. Fastball challenge. It's a big out.
And we've got the 3 lefties: Utley, Howard, and Ibanez. And Affeldt is warming up in the bullpen, but right now Meadows is going to stay on the hill. Chase Utley has walked. He's blooped a single to left and flied out to shallow left. Officially 1 for 2. Utley 0 for 2 lifetime against Brandon Meadows. And that curve is too low. And again, Jimmy Rollins was flinching back toward first base as Meadows threw that pitch to the plate, which sometimes you'll see with a lefty who's got a tough move, but you don't see it all that often with a right-hander on the mound.
No, you absolutely don't. But you know what? He may have a, and I know he's been taking some extended leads, and sometimes you get off as far as you can, but it's a one-way lead, but it's a one-way lead back to the base. Usually when a guy does that, you see him coming back to the bag with that one-way lead, and he's going back to first base on first move. Usually what follows, as he knows he can get completely extended with a good lead, is that's when he takes a one-way lead, and on your first move, he breaks for second.
1 ball and no strikes to Utley. Meadows has fallen behind each of the first 3 hitters he's faced in this inning. And he's behind 2-0.
These are really, really tough counts when you're facing a Chase Utley, a 1-0 or a 2-0.
So this is a critical pitch here. A hitter's count and a lethal hitter at the plate. He homered here last night. Utley has 23 homers. He's not only an all-star, he's a perennial all-star. Again, Rollins was heading back toward first as that pitch came to the plate. Curve in the dirt, 3-0.
Meadows is pretty quick out of the stretch. I mean, he averages usually 1.5, 1.25, somewhere in there is release time to home, and that is definitely going to give Benji Molina a chance to throw out Jimmy Rollins should he decide to try and steal.
And now he's on the verge of giving Rollins second base and giving Utley first base with a 3-ball, no strike count. We've seen the Phillies swing on 3-0 several times tonight. Rollins dives safely back.
Now they are a very aggressive bunch, and one of the things that Charlie Manuel stresses in every at bat, and consider this, Charlie Manuel was a very good hitting instructor before he became a manager, and his philosophy has always been get a good pitch to hit, and if it's a 3-0 count, get after it. So he turns him loose a lot.
It's a 4-pitch walk. He's walked 2 hitters on 4 pitches in this inning. So 2 men on with 1 man out, and here comes Bochy with Affeldt ready in the bullpen. Howard and then Ibanez, 2 left-handed hitting sluggers coming up. The Meadows walks 2 in the inning. Here comes Affeldt. Affeldt and Ryan Howard will match up with 2 men on when we come back. So Jeremy Affeldt inherits a tight spot. 2 men on, 1 man out in a 1-0 Phillies lead. And here is the cleanup hitter, the Phillies' great slugger Ryan Howard, who has struck out twice tonight and walked once. Giants pitching has walked 5 in this game. We're in the 7th inning. Affeldt against Howard. Curveball inside.
Well, Jeremy Affeldt going to try and do something for Brandon Metters, and that's pick him up. Hasn't happened very often where Metters has needed help in an inning. But right now, facing a guy he's faced 5 times. Ryan Howard 1 for 5. A couple of strikeouts against Affeldt.
And the curveball misses. 2-0.
Giants have pitched behind all night long, it seems. Phillies have had a lot of good counts to hit, and to the Giants' credit, they've been able to get through them. And right now, Affeldt's going to get tested.
Affeldt has been able to induce more ground ball double plays per inning pitched than any pitcher in the big leagues. And now he's behind the Howard 3-0. Now our radar gun said 86, but the stadium radar gun said 94, which is closer to where Affeldt's normal fastball would be.
And you do not want to walk a runner to third base with less than 2 outs.
Raul Ibanez, another slugger, another left-handed hitter, is on deck. Rollins at second, Utley at first. Phillies have had base runners in every inning, and usually more than one. Put 11 men on base so far. There go the runners. The throw will go down to second base, but too late. It's a double steal. Jimmy Rollins had a huge jump going to third.
Well, I mean, Affeldt, very deliberate, high leg kick, 3-0 count, knowing how important it is not to walk the runner at third base, and pretty good heads-up base running from Rollins and Utley to take advantage of it.
21st steal for Rollins, the 12th steal for Utley. Utley is 12 for 12. The Giants bring the infield in, although Uribe, the second baseman, I don't think wants to come in.
I don't blame him.
With Ryan Howard up there. 3-2 the count. Uribe's response was something to the effect of, "Are you kidding?"
Hey. Well, every generation seems to have a guy like Ryan Howard. Back in the 60s and 70s, it was Willie McCovey and Willie Stargell that would scare first baseman and second baseman in these situations.
Phillies have a 1-0 lead. 3-2 to Ryan Howard, the Phillies' leading RBI man. The number 2 RBI man is on deck. And that hit him. Curveball. And so far, that curveball has not helped Affeldt. The bases are loaded.
All right, let's take a look at the sequence of pitches from Affeldt to Howard. Opened him up. Breaking ball missed. Came back again with another breaking ball. There's a quick 2-0 right there. Puts himself in a hole. A 2-0 fastball. Now a 3-0. He goes 3-1 or 3-0 right down the middle. And then again, another challenge on the 3-1. And all set up for a breaking ball. Just cannot finish the pitch off, and he winds up hitting Howard to load the bags.
So now Ibanez, who hits lefties well. Nice save by Benji Molina. And Affeldt is having a hard time making the ball go where he wants it to go. And here comes Dave Righetti, himself a former left-handed relief pitcher, to counsel Jeremy Affeldt.
Well, you just are not used to watching Affeldt struggle. I mean, he had 27 consecutive innings where he put zeros on the board, and always seemed to have great command of his breaking ball. If he ever did get behind and throw a fastball up there, get a ground ball. I mean, this is the guy you want up if there's a force in order. Ibanez is hit into more double plays than anybody on the Phillies team, but you've got to throw a strike to get him to swing at it. And that right now is what Affeldt is pitching for.
Middle infield double play depth. Curveball. He was jumping away from it, but ultimately that one did not end that far away from home plate. 2-0.
still not finishing off that pitch, missing all those breaking balls in.
Rollins, Utley, Howard, the 3 base runners from third back to first. 1 out. Another threat for the Phillies. This is Major. In the dirt. Wow.
Yeah, not close. I mean, these are easy takes for Ibanez.
And now Bob Howard is going to run down to the Giants bullpen.
And this is a big time red alert. It's like go down there, get loose, and get loose in a hurry.
Well, another pitch out of the strike zone will be a run for the Phillies. There's nowhere to put him with the bases loaded. And it is a run. The 4th base runner given to the Phillies in this inning. 3 walks and a hit batsman. In to score is Jimmy Rollins. 2-0 Phils.
Now there's no way to defend this inning.
Affeldt has thrown 10 pitches, 2 of them strikes.
But there's no worse feeling than being out there on mound and not being able to have command of your pitches.
And Worth, who homered earlier in the game, with a foul down the right field line above the Cubby loft area.
Well, he's just looking for a cripple up there, just hacking. I find it odd, though. This is really, if you know what's in the pitcher's mind and how hard it is to throw a strike right now, as a hitter, you just sit there and take a pitch, take a strike. But it gets back again to the philosophy of Charlie Bagley. Look for a pitch. Forget the fact that he's throwing 4 balls in a row. I used to argue a point with Dusty Baker all the time. But Dusty would always believe, like Charlie Bagley believes, forget the fact that the pitcher's throwing 8 consecutive balls. He's due to throw a strike, and it's going to be a fat pitch to hit. Jump on it. But I just know from the pitcher's perspective, it gets harder to throw a strike. Each pitch you can't throw a strike.
1-2 the count. Well, in this inning, including that foul ball just hit, the 2 Giants pitchers in the inning have thrown 23 pitches, 5 strikes. 5 out of 23 pitches in the strike zone to the 6 hitters who've come up in this inning. A run is in. It was walked in. The bases are loaded with 1 out. Giants looking for the double play ball. 1-2 the count. Curveball off the outside.
Good curveball. That's the best curveball he's thrown this inning. That did not miss by much, and that may give him a feel to be able to locate this next pitch on a 2-2. Finished that one up nicely. There was no cast off on that one. That was a good release point. Good follow through on his pitch.
And a fastball maybe up out of the zone, fouled out of play. 2-2. The battle continues. Worth with 22 home runs. Rollins has scored after he walked leading off the inning. With 1 out, Utley walked. Then Howard was hit by a pitch when Affeldt first entered. And Ibanez, with the bases loaded, on walks and hit batsman, also walked to force in a run. 2-0 Phils. Bases loaded, 1 out. 2-2 pitch. That's a base hit. Utley's in to score. Here comes Ryan Howard right behind him. A 2-run single for Jason Worth, and it is 4-0 Phils. The hit that they have been lacking all night, they finally get. And Bruce Bochy will come out. Jeremy Affeldt has not retired a hitter. The Phillies have been threatening this all night long, and they finally have broken through. Howry in from the bullpen.
Look back and you can see the beautiful ballpark, AT&T Park. Indeed, the pride of San Francisco. And that is our Fry's scenic shot of the game. 4-0 here. Phil's at the top of the 7th, still 1 out, 2 on, and Jeremy Affeldt is not used to this type of outing, as his year has been magnificent. This has just been one bump in the road. He now gives the ball up to Bob Howry, who takes the ball for the 40th time for Bruce Bochy. And he is going to face Pedro Feliz here and try and put an end to this inning that's going awry.
2 men on, 1 man out, 3 runs in. And Howry gets a strike at the knees. Well, Affeldt finally allowed a run in his previous outing, and that was a major story. He had 28 consecutive scoreless innings before that. And he's allowed another to his record and 2 to the record of Brandon Metters. One of those nights. Right center field, Wynn. Tagging up at second base, Ibanez, and he'll go to third. That one was hit well. You see balls like that and you realize, in Philadelphia, Wynn might have been right at the wall to make that catch. The ball might have hit off the wall, might have gone over the wall.
Well, he plays right field in a whole different pre-pitch positioning as well. He's more towards the line. That may have been a gapper. Phillies ballpark, very offensive plays. Ballpark that definitely favors the pitcher, or the hitter rather. AT&T Park a little bit different though. This is a pitcher's ballpark, only because it's hard to hit home runs here. But there are some things here that favor the hitter. Foul territory small, you get big gaps, lots of area for outfielders to cover. So I'm not buying that it's a tough place to hit.
Well, it has been heaven on earth for Giants hitters this year. And there's a strike to Paul Bacco, the left-handed hitting catcher, the 8th place hitter in the order, who is 0 for 3 in the game. The Giants have hit 30 points higher here than on the road. They're hitting 244 on the road, averaging less than 3.5 runs a game. And here at home, they're hitting 274, averaging 4.7 runs a game. And the Giants, in 50 home games, have hit 37 homers. In 52 road games, 2 more road games, they've hit 29 home runs. Now it's entirely the opposite for the Giants pitchers. The Giants pitchers have been outstanding here and not nearly so good on the road. So this year, I guess, if you're saying, is this a good place to hit or a good place to pitch, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah, ask the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. He'll tell you, hey, no better place on earth to hit than here. He's hitting over 400 in this ballpark. He can't figure it out either. It'll make you scratch your head. 266 on the road, 400 here, 10 big flies. Some guys are just born to play in San Francisco. He may be one of them.
1-2 the count to Bacco. Runners at first and third, 2 down. And that one kind of hung up there, but merely fouled out of play into the second deck.
Yeah, lazy location when you're ahead of the count 1-2, especially with an open bag and a pitcher on deck. You don't want to miss upstairs with a slider. I don't think any catcher in the history of the game has called a hanging slider. I'm just saying.
Okay, Bobby, let's show your hanger right here. This is the time. Hang that baby right here at the belt. You can do it. Really, if a guy, could you throw a hanging slider if you wanted to?
I'm a connoisseur of hanging sliders. I could throw those out of bed.
Yeah, but you weren't trying to throw them.
No, you never try and throw it. Although, never say never. It's not a bad pitch to Gary Sheffield. Not a bad pitch to Mike Schmidt.
One and two the count to Paul Bacco. A nightmarish inning for the Giants. 3 runs are scored, and the Phillies have only 1 hit. That is out into right center field. Win, and at long last the inning is over. 8 men back. 3 scored. Valdez, Sandoval, Molina coming up. Run 6 hits for the Phillies. The Giants have only 1 hit against Cliff Lee in his Phillies debut. Jason Worth 2 for 4, a homer, and he's driven in 3 of the Phillies' 4 runs. Sadowski pitched 4 innings, allowed just 1 run, but they were 4 tortured innings, and then he was removed. Now the Phillies with a 3-run 7th inning, greatly aided by Giants pitchers who suddenly could not throw a strike. But it seemed like a matter of time before the Phillies were going to break out, because every inning they'd had a threat right up until the 7th.
It's a tough pill to swallow, though, and guys who've had really good years, let's just have an off night with command, and Phillies score 3 runs with just getting 1 hit, and that'll eat away at you if you're the Giants bullpen, because they're not used to that.
So here's Cliff Lee, and you see he's hardly had an inning where he's broken a sweat so far. Very similar to the game he pitched against the Giants in Cleveland last year. There's ball 1 to Valdez. And you see what Lee is capable of doing, and he had a very poor start to his season. After he won the Cy Young last year, he got up to a slow start. And Valdez takes ball 2. He gave up 7 runs in 5 innings in his first start, 4 runs in 5 innings in his second start this year, before he finally started finding himself. Once he found himself, though, there's no turning back. And that's ball 3. He had a no-hitter into the 8th inning against the Cardinals in an interleague game back in mid-June at the Jake in Cleveland. 2 outs in the 8th before the Cardinals ever got a hit against him. And that is a walk for Eugenio Valdez. The Giants, who need base runners, that's a great trip to the plate for Valdez. Fans tune into the Bay Area's #1 rated 11 p.m. newscast, NBC Bay Area, tonight at 11. And then wake up with traffic and weather on NBC Bay Area weekday morning starting at 4:30 a.m. Monday morning, I'll call you.
Okay, 4:30.
Yeah.
It's a date. Well, they like the Panda.
Sandoval has hit a comebacker and flied out to center. Very high. Sandoval has hit well in this ballpark, and he's hit well right-handed in anybody's ballpark. Came into the game tonight hitting .375 right-handed as the catcher Baco goes out to converse with Cliff Lee.
Well, 5 balls in a row, and that's going to bring Baco out. If you're a catcher, you just might suggest a couple of small reminders to concentration.
1 ball and no strikes. 2-0. Well, now he has been in that rhythm all night long, Mike, but for the first time all night, he sat and sat and sat and sat. That inning took a long time to unfold the first half of this inning.
You know, and that's something that's a little more substantial here in Northern California because of the coolness. You sit down for a long time and you can stiffen up.
Well, he has not thrown a strike in the inning, and we have not seen this from Cliff Lee tonight. He's not had a stretch like this at any time tonight. The only walk the Giants got against him was in the second inning, and Ryan Garko fouled off 8 pitches before he got it. That's a strike at the knees, and it's 3-1.
Sandoval taken on the way. Yep, every day we're seeing more of the Panda tribesmen showing up to honor their hero.
Phillies are going to get action going in their bullpen. And off the right field line, back into the crowd by Sandoval. Now it's a full count, 3-2. Benji Molina on deck. In the Phillies bullpen, the right-hander Chan Ho Park has started to throw. There's Park, number 61. The lob throw to first. Valdez easily back. Now it's 4-0. Do you send Valdez here on a 3-2 count?
I don't think so. 4 runs is too much.
He is not running. And Sandoval swings and misses at ball 4. Wow.
Now those are definitely at bats where you'll have a word with yourself as you go back to the dugout. That's a free pass walk. But you know how aggressive Sandoval is, and that's been his MO. Really, to his credit, he has tightened his whole strike zone up. That you saw a lot of it in April and May. You haven't seen a lot of it in June and July.
Perfectly placed a changeup knee high on the outside for a strike to Benji Molina, who has flied out deep to left center and flied out to center. He's 0 for 2. Well, a big pitch there would have been 2 men out and nobody out. And Sandoval was not able to restrain himself. Brian Wilson in the foreground with his hoodie. Coach Bill Hayes there in the foreground. And out of play off to the right. Another changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 4-0. The Phillies lead the Giants. On the hands, here's Rollins. And that is out number 2. Molina is 0 for 3. So 2 down. Valdez still at first, and here comes Ryan Garko. Tomorrow, 6:05 first pitch, game 3 of the series. And that will be Tim Lincecum for the Giants against Joe Blackman, and that's the night where the late afternoon, if you will. The $24 view reserved at just $9 for tomorrow. If you go on to sfgiants.com, the coupon code GIANTSK. Lincecum against Black. A 105 game here on Sunday. Barry Zito against Cole Hamels. Phillies suddenly have dual aces with Hamels, the incumbent, and now Cliff Lee added. Quickly it's 0-2 to Lee's former teammate Ryan Garko. 2 reacquainted here in the National League the same week that they got traded. Garko had a 12-pitch battle in which he walked in the second, grounded out to second in the 5th. Yeah, and he went after that low curveball, Utley, and the inning is over. A leadoff walk to Valdez, and then Lee just shrugged it off. On to the 8th inning.
Welcome back up into the ballpark. I'm Raj Mathai. The Giants waiting for their new second baseman, Freddie Sanchez. They traded for him on Wednesday from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sanchez was here today. In fact, was at the ballpark a few hours before game time getting treatment on his injured knee. He'll be activated to the roster tomorrow. Bruce Bochy saying he could be used as a pinch hitter tomorrow night and then perhaps into the starting lineup for the first time as a Giant on Sunday's game here at AT&T Park against the Phillies. Guys, back up to you.
All right, thanks for the update there, Raj. Raj Mathai, sports director at NBC Bay Area. 8th inning, Bob Howry to Cliff Lee. Ball 1. Lee has grounded out to first, singled to left center, and flied out to shallow left. 1 for 3. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Phils. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 error for the Giants. And he spanks that one deep into left center field. That ball is off the wall, nearly a home run. A stand-up double for Cliff Lee.
Who is this guy? You talk about making an impact coming over to a new club. Your first outing, you allow 1 hit through 7 innings, and you get a couple of knocks, and he very close to knocking one out of here. In a ballpark not made for home runs, he almost goes opposite field in the power gap, left center. Yeah, look at the reaction.
Where did that come from? I have a feeling he's going to be a hit in Philadelphia.
You think?
Here's Jimmy Rollins. That's a base hit. Lee will go to third and hold up. So base hits on consecutive pitches from Bob Howry. The Phillies are threatening now to extend their lead. Rollins got that 3-run 7th inning started with a walk. Later led a double steal and scored the first of those 3 runs. Now Ben Francisco, the other acquisition from Cleveland.
And his at-bats have been great tonight. He's swung the bat well.
Hit the ball hard 4 straight times. Only 1 hit to show for it. A line drive off the left field wall for a double in the 5th inning. Runners at first and third. Middle infielders are halfway. And it's 0-1.
Good sinker. 4-0 is not a lead where you're going to see guys sit tight at first base either. Bob Howry's going to have to pay close attention to Rollins at first.
Chase Utley, slugging second baseman, a left-handed hitter on deck. And ball 1 strike.
Yeah, he got him to swing over that sinker on the first pitch, came right back, and that's a good idea. Get in the guy's head, try and take advantage of it. If he's going to swing at him, keep pounding him, especially when you have count leverage. You're on top of guy 0-1. You can do that. You can do it again here, 1-1.
That ball right out over the middle of the plate, deep into left center. Valdez on the edge of the track. Lee will tag up and score. And it is 5-0. And they're teeing off on Bob Howry in this inning. Sacrifice fly for Francisco. And the 5th straight time that he has hit the ball hard. One away. And now Utley, who has walked, blooped a single, popped out to shallow left, and walked and scored a run. He's been on base 3 times. 1 ball and no strikes. Utley gets a lot of walks. Walked 63 times now this year. His on base average coming into this game was .424. So he drives in runs, he hits home runs, he hits for average, hitting over 300. And he's on base all the time, setting up RBI opportunities for Ryan Howard, Raul Ibanez and company. Roland over to left center. Rollins is tagging at first base, but he's stand put. 2 down.
Well, a reminder that the Giants this year are celebrating their pitching staff with a special promotion highlighting the K. Welcome to K-Ville. K-Ville Seats are located in a special section of AT&T Park, and a purchase of a ticket in K-Bill will get fans a great package. That's right, a ticket in the K-Bill section, a collector's K-Bill t-shirt, a foam orange K, $10 in food and beverage through Splash Tix, all for only $55. You go to sfgiants.com/K-Bill and take advantage of it right now. And you can watch Tim Lincecum tomorrow on the hill, be in K-Bill when he's pitching.
Ryan Howard, and it's 0-1. Howard has struck out, walked, struck out looking, and then he was hit by a pitch in the 7th inning in that 3-run rally, scored the 3rd run. So Howard has not made contact all night. He's struck out twice, been hit by a pitch, and walked. Has not put a ball in play. Change up in the dirt. Giants had the shift out for him with the third baseman Sandoval over at shortstop. Renteria, the shortstop, is basically playing the second base position. And that's Uribe, the second baseman, out in right field. 5-0 Phillies here in the 8th. Just off the outside. The fastball at 94 miles an hour, which, according to the stadium radar gun, the bits of pitches that our gun and their gun have had profound disagreements about it.
Yeah, like 12 miles apart. Not miles per hour, miles apart.
2-1 the count. That is a strike on the outside.
And that is some paint on the outside. You want to take a guy's advantage away in a count, make a fastball pitch in that type of location.
This is the great slugger Ryan Howard. In the last 3 years, 153 homers. Before this year, averaging 51 homers per year. Did he swing? Yes, he did. On the changeup. And the inning is over. But another run. Cliff Lee scored it. Lee and the Phillies lead 5-0. Halladay has the reputation of being as good a pitcher as there is in either league. That you got the second place prize in Cliff Lee. Well, Lee may be serving to dispel some of that feeling. He has been superb, and it was Lee, not Halladay, who won the Cy Young Award in the American League last year. Here's Aaron Rowan. Curveball in for a strike.
He has mixed that first pitch so well. Curveball, slider, changeup, fastball with a cut, fastball with a sink.
changed up.
So first pitch curveball, strike one, follows it up with another off-speed pitch, a changeup. And you better have a good changeup if you're going to throw it off a curveball in the first 2 pitches of an at bat. Simply because the curveball and the changeup are pretty much the same speed.
0-2 to Rowand. Now time taken. Rowand backs away. Rowand at the time where he got hurt with a torn tendon in his right forearm. It was 11 days ago in Atlanta. And he fouls this one off the right field line.
Kind of pitch it backwards, John. Throw a curveball to the changeup with soft stuff to get the 0-2. Then he pounds a fastball in on the hands at 87. And after you see the 2 off-speed pitches, that 87 looks like 94 with great location.
Whacks that one down the left field line for extra bases up against the bumper of the car. And Rowand has not had that particular feeling for quite some time. Rowand with just his second hit since July the 11th.
He's had pretty good at bats tonight. Lets this ball get deep into him. A reaction from Cliff Lee. A double from Aaron Rowand, hit number 1,000 in his career. And he did it against his former teammates.
There's a bunt by Renteria. That's a good one. Lee just in time. A moment's hesitation there as to who was going to field that. Baco or Lee, but he's still got Renteria.
Well, it looked like a perfect bunt with Phillies playing back. Just another example of the athleticism of Cliff Lee, and indeed, first base umpire James Hoy on the call and gets it right. He's out. That ball grazed Renteria. I didn't think anybody had a chance to get him. Good play.
Well, Edgar would easily have beaten that out throughout most of his career. But he's a little banged up right now. Here is Uribe, who has grounded out and hit a double. And he bloops this one. Tagging up is Rowand. Worth, he's got a strong arm. Not in time. And Rowand comes out of there limping a little bit. There was a bat right in his way. And plus he slid right into the catcher, Paul Baco. But it's a sacrifice fly for Uribe.
Talk about the strong arm of Worth. It's strong and it is accurate. And it just goes ankle to ankle. Boy, you're lucky you don't pop an ankle on this particular play when you beat a catcher's foot. Watch the momentum that he had going into the throw. I mean, Worth does everything right. He had plenty of time to get himself in position to get momentum to the throw. That ankle will be stiff after this game, I can guarantee you that.
So even in getting their first run of the night, the Giants come out of it battered and bruised in a tough night. So they break up the shutout. Carney Lansford and Rowand exchange some smiles as Travis Ishikawa pinch hits for Bob Howry. And an oft repeated tale tonight. The first pitch to him is a strike. Sergio Romo warms up in the Giants bullpen. Ishikawa hitting .268, 7 homers and 30 runs batted in. There's Romo up in the bullpen. And it takes a bad hop on the grass. Ishikawa is safe at first.
Wow, Utley had no chance. And that's the problem. When you go out into the grass, you subject yourself to the lip of the infield as it meets the outfield. And watch this thing hit, boop, right over the glove. you can see this thing. One more hop goes right over the glove. And I guess Utley has to be thankful didn't hit him in the mug. So Ishikawa, the benefactor of that base hit. Thing of beauty.
And a couple of first basemen converse there. Ishikawa and Ryan Howard. Ryan Madsen, tall right-hander, up in the Phillies bullpen now. Is generally the setup man in front of the closer, Brad Lidge. Now Randy Wynn, 0 for 3. It's a strike. Randy is also 2 for 22 lifetime against Cliff Lee. 5-1, the Phillies lead here in the last of the 8th. A ball and a strike. Pitch number 98 thrown by Cliff Lee tonight. Randy has had his problems as a right-handed hitter all year. He's not been able to get it going yet. Through tonight, he's had 14 hits and 86 right-handed at bats. And just a lazy fly ball in the right center. Worth. Randy is 0 for 4. Cliff Lee 8 strong. On to the ninth inning. Ibanez and Worth coming up.
An 11 p.m. newscast, NBC Bay Area tonight at 11, and you can wake up with traffic and weather on NBC Bay Area weekday morning starting at 4:30 a.m.
4:30. I'll call you to remind you on Monday.
Thank you.
There's Sergio Romo in for the Giants now. He is the 6th Giants pitcher of the night. Replaces Bob Howry, who went 1 2/3, allowed 1 run. And a called strike to Raul Ibanez. The only Giant pitcher who escaped allowing a run was Marquín Valdez, who pitched 2 very strong innings. 0-2 the count.
It's an important inning, too, for Sergio Romo as he's been building his confidence back up from that little bump in the road he had on the Giants' last road trip. He had 2 really bad outings that he's trying to right. He faced 6 consecutive hitters. They got 6 consecutive hits, and they all scored. It's tough to explain this game of baseball. I mean, he had a pretty good roll going into the break. Came out of the break, hit that bump in the road. Now he's fighting to get that confidence back.
He gave up nothing at all. And he was pitching in games where the Giants had leads late. 1-2 the count.
Well, that's one of the frustrating things about being a relief pitcher. You can have a great month and all of a sudden have one outing that just takes your ERA and makes it go weird. And that takes you another month to get your ERA back.
And a slider in the dirt for a ball. 2-2 to Ibanez. Jason Worth on deck. Cliff Lee, 8 very impressive innings. The Giants with 1 run and 3 hits against Lee. He walked only 1, 6 strikeouts. Nobody warming up in the Phillies bullpen at the moment. And Ibanez is gone. And that's one of the top hitters in baseball. Ibanez down on strikes.
Elevates a little sightline change, goes upstairs right above the letters. And Ibanez cannot lay off.
Jason Worth has homered, popped up, grounded to short, and hit a 2-run single in the 7th. So he's driven in 3 of the Phillies' 5 runs. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, I think the 2-out, 2-strike at bat single with the bases loaded was more impressive than the home run.
It was the hit the Phillies just could not get. They had threat after threat after threat, but nobody could get the big hit with men on base. Here comes Valdez. Out number 2.
I think Eugenio Valdez is one of those guys that if he's hitting well, he's going to catch everything on defense. I mean, his jumps in this series have been fantastic out in the outfield. And for a guy that, you know, is a utility player where he can play everywhere, he really hasn't played too many positions the same 2 days in a row. He's played a real nice left field tonight.
Pedro Phillies, the former Giant, in there for a strike. And the conventional wisdom was, and I subscribed to it when he went to Philadelphia, as a guy who hit 20 or more homers in 4 straight years with the Giants in that small ballpark in Philly, that he did hit even more. And that's not the way it's turned out. Slider down the third base side. Pedro this year has only 6 home runs in 361 official at bats, but his batting average is .291.
Well, I thought for sure you'd see him go 25, 30 home runs in Philadelphia. Last year he had 14. This year he's pretty much on the same pace, maybe even a little bit behind.
Yeah. He's on pace for maybe 10. In the hole. This is a long throw for Renteria. Right there. Nice play. Last chance for the Giants. Valdez, Sandoval, Molina will try and get something going.
Pursuing perfection play of the game. It happened in the bottom of the 8th inning. Aaron Rowan, the double off Cliff Lee, one of just 3 hits in this game off Cliff Lee. Historically for Rowan, that's his 1,000th career base hit. And Aaron Rowan now wears a Giants uniform, but many of those 1,000 career base hits have come when he's a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. And guys are talking to some of the Phillies players before the game. They still miss Rowan over there in that clubhouse.
Well, he was a good teammate. And they said the same thing in Chicago when he left the White Sox to go to Philadelphia.
Last chance for the Giants, and Cliff Lee is still in there, but the bullpen is ready behind him. And it's a called strike to the outside. A change up to Valdez, who has hit a comebacker on a check swing, then called out on strikes and walked. And the slider is inside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. 102 pitches thrown by Lee. Phillies have activity in their bullpen. Base hit to right. And why are we not surprised? Valdez been the Giants' hottest hitter this week during this homestand. Now 9 for 18 since being recalled from Fresno.
Stayed inside that pitch nicely. Going the opposite way. That's great. It's great to see a young player come up and find his confidence at this level, because you have to make yourself believe you can play here first before you can make other people believe that you can play here.
Madsen, number 46, the setup man. Lynch, number 54, the closer. Each throwing in the bullpen right now. Sandoval back to the screen. Sandoval is 0 for 3. He's had a comebacker, flied out to center, and struck out swinging at a pitch up around his eyes the last time, which was a big deal at that time. It was right up to Valdez had walked, and he swung and missed at ball 4, well out of the strike zone. Just off the inside. Charlie Manuel giving Cliff Lee a chance to finish what he started in his Philadelphia debut. 1-2.
Well, it's sort of a flat slider, and it's so effective when you can place that thing with a flat break that runs in towards a right-hander's hand if you're throwing from the left side. See, Barry seemed to have a lot of success with that pitch. I mean, Lee has used it well tonight.
That straightened him up. 2-2. Benji Molina on deck. Phillies lead the Giants 5-1 here in the last of the 9th. Curveball and a pop up right to Rollins. 1 away, and a rare 0 for 4 for Sandoval. And especially rare in this ballpark where he was hitting .400 for the year. Cliff Lee is one of the premier pitchers in the game. He's demonstrated why here tonight. His first start at AT&T Park. He has been a master. This could be 2. 1. Rollins to first, and the ball game is over. So the Phillies get even. The Phillies back of their new prize left-hander, Cliff Lee. He was the stopper, and in a debut for a new ball club,